Good day. I am Rolly Nicole at PARCO, a first-year civil engineering student, and in this presentation, I will be talking about one of the well-known and well-respected scientists known to mankind. He is no other than Andre Marie Ampere. In this presentation, I will be tackling a lot of information related to the scientist, including his background, contributions, and impact of his contributions. First, his background. Andre Marie Ampere was a French physicist and mathematician. He was born on the 20th of January 1775 to Jean-Jacques Ampere and Jean-Antoinette de Saint-Sarcy Ampere during the height of the French Enlightenment. Ampere was born into a prosperous bourgeois family during the height of the French Enlightenment, and he personified the scientific culture of his day. Jean-Jacques Ampere, his father, was a successful merchant and his mother was a devout Catholic, so Ampere was also initiated into the Catholic faith along with the Enlightenment science. His early education, he was homeschooled and self-taught. Ampere's father was an admirer of the philosophy of Jean-Jacques Rousseau, whose theories of education were the basis of Ampere's education. Rousseau believed that young boys should avoid formal schooling and pursue instead an education direct from nature. Ampere's father actualized this ideal by allowing his son to educate themselves within the walls of his well-stocked library. Ampere's first job was as a mathematics teacher. He took his first regular job in 1799 as a modestly paid mathematics teacher, which gave him the financial security to marry and father his first child, Jean-Jacques, the next year. Next, we have his contributions. His greatest contributions was in the field of electromagnetism. Ampere showed that two parallel wires carrying electric currents repel or attract with each other, depending on whether the currents flow in the same or opposite directions respectively. In recognition of his contribution to the making of modern electrical science, an international convention signed in 1881 established the ampere as a standard unit of electrical measurement along with the coulomb, volt, ohm, and watt, which are named respectively after Ampere's contemporaries. Next, we have the astatic needle, a galvanometer having two needles with the opposite polarities that reduce the effect of the Earth's magnetism. Ampere demonstrated that there is a relationship between electrical current and magnetism. He discovered that a magnet can be generated when electricity flows through a coiled wire. Ampere also discovered that the electrical current that flows between two parallel wires will either repel or attract depending on the direction of the flow. Next, fluorine. Ampere discovered and named the element fluorine. In 1810, he proposed that the compound we now call hydrogen fluoride consisted of hydrogen and a new element. The new element had similar properties to fluorine, he said. He and Humphrey Davy, who was British, entered into correspondence, even though France and Britain were at war. Ampere did not restrict his interests to mathematics, and physics. They were wide-ranging and included philosophy and astronomy. He was particularly interested in chemistry. In fact, preceding his work in electromagnetism, he made significant contributions to chemistry. So, impact of contributions. In today's reality, we are able to live comfortably due to the discoveries of the early societies. With this, it is only right to pay homage to these brilliant people. Moreover, here are the impacts Andre Marie Ampere has given us in the present day. Contributions, electromagnetism. Ampere produced a theory of electromagnetism that set the subject on mathematical foundation. In recognition of his contribution to the creation of modern electrical science, an international convention in 1881 named the standard unit of measurement of electrical current the ampere after him for his immense contribution to the field. Next, we have the astatic needle. At the time of Ampere, there was no instrument to detect the presence and intensity of current in a battery. He used the deflection of magnetic needle due to a current carrying measure to measure the flow of electricity. He thus played an important role in the development of the galvanometer, an instrument for detecting and measuring electrical current. Next, we have the fluorine. He coined the term fluorine for this element and suggested that it could be isolated by electrolysis. It was 76 years later that French chemist Henri Moissan finally isolated fluorine. He did so by electrolysis, as had been suggested by Ampere, and which this element is now used in a lot of aspects. Fluorine is critical for the production of nuclear material for nuclear power plants and for the insulation of electrical towers. Hydrogen fluoride, a compound of fluorine, is used to etch glass. Fluorine, like Teflon, is also used to make plastics and is also important in dental health. So that's it for my presentation about the brilliant scientist Andre Marie Ampere. I believe that the history of science is important for context, remembrance of previous experiments, to improve upon them, and to understand the thought process of humanity. Hence, it is important for us to remember these names, these people who have greatly contributed to the betterment of our society, for them to be our inspirations, to spark the willingness to improve and create a better future as they have. And also be like Andre Marie Ampere, who by being a scientist did not make this a hindrance in having a belief. With this, I leave with a quote by Andre Marie Ampere himself. Believe in God, in His providence, in a future life, in a recompense of the good, in the punishment of the wicked, in the sublimity and truth of the doctrines of Christ, in a revelation of this doctrine by a special divine inspiration for the salvation of the human race. Once again, Andre Marie Ampere, a French physicist and mathematician. So once again, good day. I am Rolly Nicole PARCO, and that's it for my presentation.